to my cozy chat, iced coffee, YouTube video kind of vibe for the day. I'm in my living room rather than the kitchen, bit of a change. Not quite gone upstairs yet, but you never know. But yeah, iced coffees, I just love iced coffees when the weather gets slightly warmer, particularly with like loads of cinnamon in and Myprotein toffee flavour dropped. It's just banging, absolutely banging. Anyway, today's video is going to be about supplements. I'll maybe try and keep this one a little bit shorter, as I'm aware that most of my videos end up being 20 minutes plus. But let me know below if you quite like the longer videos or whether you prefer me to do like a few like 10-minute videos. I'll try and keep this to 10 minutes, but who knows, I tend to waffle when I get into it, as you probably realised. So yes, today's video is all about supplements, as this was requested by somebody on one of my previous videos, and it was something actually I said I would do a video on when I first started this YouTube channel and haven't yet. Obviously it goes without saying that supplements should only ever be an addition. So if you're looking for supplements to be sort of like a magic cure, or instead of eating more, instead of reducing exercise, then it isn't going to help. But if you're just wanting to add a few things to your diet that might help support HA recovery, help support your hormonal health, then I'll go through some of the ones that I did take when I was going through HA recovery, and some I still take that out. So I think I've got a list of about 10 different supplements I'm going to talk about. Some are within like tablet form and some are more like food based. And these are ones that I did some research on before HA recovery. So before I started kind of the process, I had a look into things like supplements and did quite a lot of research. I largely took the research from a proper evidence base rather than just getting it from people on Instagram and YouTube and things like that. Just because obviously it becomes diluted, that information, and it's hard sometimes to know what's somebody's personal bias towards a supplement or what is actually evidence-based. And I'm kind of a bit of a geek in that sense. I love a bit of evidence. I did a lot of research in my speech and language sciences degree, and so yeah, it just kind of comes to me naturally. So that's why I quite like doing a lot of the research for these videos, because I want to make them as factual as possible rather than just telling you about things that I took. I'm also going to discuss some supplements that I didn't take but have been recommended. So one of the first ones, which I think is one of the biggest, well, I don't know if it is the biggest, but it's one I heard quite a lot about, was Vitex. So Vitex is a plant-based supplement, so it derives from a plant. I took mine in tablet form, and there is some evidence that it can help balance out estrogen and progesterone, so balance out your hormones. I did quite a bit of research on it, and to be honest with you, there's very little evidence. But I decided when I first started eating more, reducing exercise, that actually if there's any evidence, then it's worth trying. So I think I just googled Vitex and found a company that just sold this supplement, and it seemed to have quite good reviews. I took it probably for about 2.5-3 months, and then I did get my period back, and I didn't bother buying any more of it. It could be a good one to take, but like I say, I don't think it would have a big enough impact to get your period back, for example. The one that is quite common that people take during HA recovery is Maca powder. I did have Maca powder, but not like routinely, so I didn't take it every day, for example, as a supplement. But if I had a smoothie or in oats or within yogurt, I would sometimes add like a teaspoon of Maca powder. And again, that's been shown to sometimes help with hormones. It's got less evidence and research on that, and more evidence on being actually a mood booster, giving you more energy. So actually, in that sense, that could also be quite good for HA recovery, even if it's got nothing to do with hormones, but actually just boost your energy and boost your mood, because obviously that then coincides with a reduction in stress. It's not that expensive, it actually tastes quite nice. It's kind of got almost a caramelly flavour to it. So if it's got any benefit, then yeah, go for it, I would say. Flaxseed. So again, that's another one that there's quite a lot of evidence-based for, and quite a lot of popularity, not just for getting your period back, but just in general for women to take. And again, it's supposed to be quite good for hormonal health and your period cycle. I didn't necessarily take this strictly every day. but I did put it similarly like maca powder. I would put flaxseed into smoothies, into oats, into some of my baking. So if you've seen a lot of my bakes on Instagram, quite a lot of them I would put in flaxseed. And for me, again, it was one of those ones that it isn't that expensive, so if it can have any benefit, then why not? The research suggests that it can help with your luteal phase and follicular phase. And I think that's regardless of whether you've actually got your period or not. So it can actually help your body go through a slightly more optimal cycle, because sometimes your body goes through those cycles even though obviously you're not getting a period, because it's just dependent on your hormonal levels, as well as just a reduction in your stress hormones, which again is obviously really good for HA recovery. I know Dr. Rinaldi, who is a doctor within this field, she recommends taking flaxseed. I think the recommended dose to have enough benefits is about 10 grams. So I made sure I put that within smoothies and, like I say, in things like yogurt and my bakes. Buy a bag of it, have it in your cupboard, try and remember to stick it in a few different things every day, then it's only going to be a benefit. Another one I took religiously was magnesium. Then I just take it before bed. The reason why I got magnesium is less to do with anything like hormones, but more to do with sleep. So magnesium is supposed to really help with sleep, and sleep is so important for anybody, but also really important when you're going through HA recovery, to just give yourself, the better your sleep is, the better you're going to be during the day, the less stressed you're going to be, the happier you're going to be. Sleep is just so important. So for me, I was like, well, if I can optimize my sleep, then surely that's going to be a benefit. And there is just generally loads of benefits of magnesium, and I don't think a lot of us get enough of it from our diet, so I supplemented with that. I also took a women's multi every day. This contained just general vitamins that would be in any multivitamins, so vitamin A, B, C, vitamin D, and then this one also contained zinc, iron, folate, and it was just a one that is supposed to be more tailored and suited to women. And I just thought, you know, if I can pump my body with as much vitamins and minerals and goodness as possible, then maybe that will have an additional help on getting my period back. So another one I would maybe suggest, but again, isn't essential. Another one I took was omega-3. Again, not necessarily linked to hormonal health, but it has been shown to help support bone density. And obviously, if you haven't got your period back, like I discussed in my last video, you are at an increased risk of a reduction in your bone density, about 2% per year of not having a period. So it's a great one just to add into your diet. If you eat a lot of oily fish, nuts, seeds, you probably don't need to supplement with it. I probably only have oily fish once a week. Therefore, for me, I was like, well, I may as well add a bit extra into my diet. And it also helps just to reduce blood pressure and overall heart health as well. So again, it was a bit of a why not for me. And then there were some other supplements that I've heard have benefits but didn't take. So one of these was ashwagandha. Now this has been shown to have a positive impact on stress and a reduction in stress. So I know some people take this at night alongside things like magnesium to help reduce cortisol and support a better sleep for that night. I never took it. I think there's a few questions on how much you should take and how much you need to take to get those benefits, and it was just one of those ones that I didn't feel I needed to take and didn't go down the route of looking at, but I know has been shown to have a reduction in stress, which again could obviously be positive for HA. And the last one, which I'm probably going to completely butcher this name, is Acetyl L-carnitine. Hopefully that was right, but if not, hey, hopefully you know what I mean. So this has been shown to support the replication of an increase and decrease in your hormonal levels necessary to regain your cycle. Again, it wasn't one that I took, but actually I think there's a lot more recent evidence around this. It has been shown to, yeah, like I say, support increase and decrease in your hormonal levels. So it could be one that I would potentially recommend if you could get it one and it wasn't too expensive. I'm not sure on the price of it, then it might be a good one to take while you're trying to get your period back. And I think those were the main supplements. The other thing I've obviously heard of is things like seed cycling. I never did anything like that. I just heard that flaxseed was actually the best seed to take, so that's the one I kept to. But actually, generally in my diet, I try to increase things like seeds and nuts for healthy fats, and obviously they come with lots of other goodness. So things like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, I did add them in, but I didn't cycle them in the way that other people recommend. Might be something to look into if you're interested in, but just wasn't something that, it sounds awful, but I could be bothered to do. I didn't want to make anything too fussy when I was going through HA recovery. I wasn't committed enough to be cycling seeds and doing all those kind of things. I felt like the main things, and I would reiterate this, the most important things to get my period back was for me gaining weight through increasing calories and reduction in exercise. And anything else I've just talked about is just added benefits. I'm going to quickly take you to the kitchen actually and show you just some of the ones that I still take now, just so you can see like packaging and things. This is not really me advertising Myprotein, by the way. I know I'm talking about Myprotein, it just happens to be where I get my supplements from because I am an ambassador for them. And you can save at least 37% off using my code CLEANLEAN. But it's just me showing you some of the supplements I take, just in case there's any use, but obviously you can get your supplements from wherever you tend to get them from. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that this is the magnesium I get from Myprotein, magnesium citrate. It is a really good quality magnesium, and citrate apparently is supposed to be a one that your body can digest quicker. I'm making that up, but that's what I'd heard. I also get my Maca powder from Myprotein. As it says, great source of natural vitamin C and iron, and obviously, like I said before, a bit of a mood booster. And I get the omega 369, so it's just a combination of the omegas that is supposed to be most optimal. I, at the moment, don't have a multivitamin, so I just tend to take vitamin D3 on its own. And actually, one I didn't mention that I did take, but it's more to do with actually the added impact of the increased food that you're eating, is a probiotic. Obviously, this isn't a sponsored one and they're not that cheap, but I found that it sometimes helped with bloating if I felt a bit uncomfortable. So I didn't religiously take a probiotic, but I do find them quite useful, particularly now. I find them quite useful actually when I'm on my period, because I often get like a dodgy gut health when I'm on my period for some reason. I think a lot of women do. So I take it for that, but then I also took it going through HA recovery. And actually this is just in a tub. This is the flaxseed that I use all the time. And I think I actually got my flaxseed from somewhere like Aldi for like really cheap. It wasn't expensive at all. And I just regularly stock up on this. I still have it all the time. So yeah, so those are supplements that I still take, and some of the ones that I was taking, for example, like I said, the Women's Multi is one that I'm not currently taking, as generally I do have a really good diet, but everything else I pretty much still take. So yeah, I hope that was useful. Like I said earlier, nothing's going to be better than just actually changing your overall lifestyle. That's going to be the most optimal way for you to get your period back. These may have some benefits, so why not? They're not going to do any harm. Things like L-carnitine, whatever that word was, acetyl L-carnitine, I think that can interact with some medications, so I would speak to your GP prior to taking that. And again, if you've got any questions about anything, always seek advice from your GP, just in case. But other than that, I don't think, with most of these supplements, they're very natural plant-based supplements, so there shouldn't be any reasons why you can't take them. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to be less than 10 minutes, probably not, but hopefully not quite as long as 20. Hopefully it was useful. If you've got any more questions on supplements, then let me know below and I'll try and answer them if I know the answer to it. And any suggestions for my next video, then also let me know. I'll maybe try and do a couple more foodie ones if you're interested as well. Anyway, I shall catch you in the next one. See you later.